Hello and welcome to Filmi Ladies. We are Pitu and Beth, and this is another episode in our color series. We are quickly reaching the end of our series. This is the last color we're going to do, which is white. Which, if you are a smartass like me, you're probably thinking white is not a color, white is the absence of color. Thank you. Anyway, so we're going to talk about white today. I feel like white is such an iconic color in Hindi cinema, partially just because of the culture it's based on. I mean, white is the color of purity, it's the color of chastity, it's the color of virtue, it's the color of that's worn by cinematic widows. It is the color we almost always see our ma's in all of these movies that we've seen.
True.
Nirpa Roy is like clothed in white almost always.
True.
So it is also the color of tyag and balidan and all of those feelings that Beth and I are not fans of. White is also the color of mystery. We have often the ghostly lady who's in
Yeah.
white. We have the mysterious lady who's in white. We often have subterfuge and secrecy associated with white. So it's definitely a color that we could go on and on about. And so we have picked movies from very different eras. I have time traveled back to 1971, I believe, with the movie Kati Patang. It is by Shakti Samanta, who I think is such a good director. And I've always wanted to watch this movie because I love the soundtrack. We actually owned the CD of it. And so I knew all the songs. I like Rajesh Khanna. I don't have a lot of opinions about Asha Parekh, so I wanted to explore more of her films. And this is supposed to be one of her good movies. And so that's part of the reason why I chose it. I was very pleased with my choice. And I actually don't know what Beth's choice is. So, Beth, what did you pick? I know you were in more contemporary times.
Yeah, this one came to me right away. I thought of Abbas-Mastan because they are the men in white, right? These two brothers
Right.
who make movies, mostly sort of twisty, thrillery things, not only, but I think that's what usually comes to mind first for people when they think of Abbas-Mastan. So I thought I would dig one of those out. And we've talked about a little bit about their filmography, of course, but not a ton. And so I dusted off Humraaz, which is
Mm.
I watched quite early in my Hindi film watching exploration because Akshay Khanna is in it, and I kind of latched onto him early on. And there were bits of this movie I remembered incredibly well, such as people going Humraaz throughout the film. But I didn't really remember the plot at all, other than it, snaked around. So it was fun to revisit. And every time I watch one of these kind of like 2000 to 2005 films, I end up saying something like, "Wow, what a time it was for fashion." I will be saying that again because
Yes. Nice. So I vaguely remember watching Humraaz. I have seen it, but only the one time. I, for some reason, thought Bobby Deol was in it.
he
Is he
is.
not? Oh, he is. Okay. Because there's a song of his in it. Yeah, he's definitely Bobblehead Bobby in
Mhm.
this movie. And then was Amisha in it also?
Yes, Amisha
Okay.
Patel. Those
So
three are
it's
the main
okay,
group.
got it. Okay. And then I vaguely remember some like very hit song that it had some sort of like party-ish or like nightclubby number. But
Oh, I have no doubt that that's true, and I will look I don't know which one that would have been, but yes.
okay. So what is the story of Humraz for those of us who don't remember?
Well, to start with, Wikipedia says this is a remake of loosely inspired by the 1998 American film A Perfect Murder, which itself is a remake of Dial M for Murder by Hitchcock,
Mm.
which I don't think I've seen, or if I have, I don't remember it. I don't think I've seen that 90s US one. So I cannot speak to whether the plots are similar or not. If you are worried about being spoilered, you might want to, bop out of this conversation. But this film is 20 whatever years old. So
Yeah.
um 23 years old at this point. The plot of this film is that Akshay Khanna and Amisha Patel are a romantic couple and they have a dance troupe, and
Of
they are
course.
both also very obsessed with the idea of being rich and famous.
Mm.
Probably mostly rich, but also famous. Like the film opens with I think it's their engagement party, and they're so excited because it's really fancy and all the high society of Bombay are there. And then you realize that's a dream sequence, her dream sequence.
Oh.
And that's actually important that this is her dream as well. So their strategy is that they want to get chosen to perform on industrialist and eligible bachelor Bobby's um, new cruise line venture.
Okay, so
I
like
don't know.
professional dancers, kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah, very dildaraknedo, actually.
Mm.
And they the like guy in charge of entertainment for the boat actually chooses a different dance company. And then Akshay goes to Bobby's office, like cons his way into Bobby's office and is like, please, sir, give us a chance, whatever. So then there's an audition and they lose the audition because the opposing dance crew's head guy, whose name is Jojo, rolls a coin onto the dance floor. So one of the dancers trips and falls in there. And Akshay's like, you got to go tell them you cheated. Da, da, da. And the guy's like, no way, man. Um, and so then later that night, Akshay goes to that guy's house and in a rage in their physical fight, basically throws the guy out the window. He falls to his death.
Oh shit. Okay.
I think in retrospect that there are a lot of highly unlikely things in this film. And him having shoved this guy hard enough to send him through a plate glass window is one of them, but we won't worry about that too hard. So then they of course get to go on the cruise. They leave the next day because that's how things work. And everybody has passports and they're all packed with their
It's
choreographed
business,
outfits and
business, Beth.
business, business, dance,
Yeah.
business. Wow, it's so many great Hindi films are dance, business.
Dance off, business, business.
True, true. Murder. Or at least manslaughter. And they go on the cruise. Bobby, of course, falls for Amisha, and there's a cute dog involved in their meet cute.
Oh,
We don't really see
okay.
the dog very much after that, but the dog is extremely cute. The dog's name is Johnny, which is an acceptable Hindi film dog name.
Yeah.
Uh, and Johnny's co-owner is Sudhir, villain
Oh.
of Yore, whom I adore. It was fun to see him in this. And the couple decide that they're going to play Bobby along to try to get money out of this. So Bobby is falling for Amisha. She's pretending to fall for him. Akshay is, scheming in the background. There are dance numbers on the boat because it's a dance troupe, so that's all fine. And eventually, Bobby and Amisha get married. He comes from his family background is interesting because they're Rajput, and so we go to some of these big, like palaces and everything. And he's very, very close to his daddy-ma, and she seems really conservative. But then also when they get married, the family like gives Amisha her chunk of shares of the company that like are her own, and they're like, we treat girls the same as we treat boys. Here's your physical wealth, or your, you know, here's your financial settlement or whatever. She has no one in her family. I think this is also important to note.
Mm.
You can imagine the schemy and the machinations get all tangled up. And nobody in this movie, if you watch it in a more detached way, is good. Everyone is bad.
Okay.
Amisha is just as greedy as Akshay. Bobby, who is supposed to be, I think, is supposed to be painted as the one we want her to end up with, does some really, really horrible stuff to her
Mm.
when he's under one set of information as opposed to the full set of information, blah, 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 blah. So I won't spoiler it, but it is it does twist and turn. I don't, like I said, I don't know if this is how Dial M for Murder goes. Is Amisha Patel the new Grace Kelly? Was she? I actually don't think Grace Kelly's a good actor, so maybe. But yeah, so there are a lot of fun outfits in this movie because they are performers and also it's 2002, so there's a lot going on. The choreography is really fun. This is a Himesh Reshammiya
Mm.
soundtrack, and you're like, oh yeah, remember those?
Yeah. Does this
Um,
movie have that song Bardasht Nahi Kar Sakta?
yes, it does.
Oh, I was obsessed with that for a while. Like when it came out, it is such a bop. It is very, very catchy. And like, say what you will about Himesh Reshammiya, like, no, he's not my favorite music director. But like, once you listen to a Himesh song, you kind of just keep want to croon it constantly, and it earworms. And like, Bardasht Nahi Kar Sakta had this like, hey, ow thing that I loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually remember I don't know when's the last time I heard that song, but as it came on, I was like, oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that one.
I thought this movie was really fun. It's not my favorite
Mm.
Abbas-Mastan, obviously, because They also made Race and Race 2 and 36 Chinatown
They made
and
Khiladi, which I love.
Kilati, which we just discussed, and Badshah.
Mm.
So they have, and Soldier, and Bazigar.
Yeah, I
So
mean, Bazigar is like the
these are
feather in their
all
cap.
great. And I did almost rewatch Bazigar for this, but then I thought we'll probably do a whole episode on Bazigar at some
Yeah,
point. So I'll I'll wait for that. Wait a minute. No, no, no. We already did do a whole episode on Bazigar.
we did.
Yes, we did.
Okay, I have a
Yes,
horrible
we did.
memory, so I don't remember.
Oh, and they did Badshah. I'm getting those two mixed up. That's my thing.
Okay,
We have not done Badshah. We have done Bazigar. So, you
okay.
know, gosh, what a great slew of movies. So this is not on the
Mhm.
level of those. However, will add that our friend Melanie Tiger Schroff
Tiger
Scholar
Shroff.
texted me and said, Humraaz is my favorite Abbas-Mastan film. It's perfect.
Oh my.
And I didn't get a chance to hear from her about why she loves it so much, other than the fact that she loves Bobby. Um,
Okay.
who works with them a couple of times. Obviously, Akshay Khanna is in the first race movie. So the, it's really fun. It maybe takes a little bit of time to get going and there because there are twists. The tone of this film shifts quite a bit because you get the like lovey-lovey, but then you're like,
Mm,
whoa, super murderous. So um yeah, put the dancers on a boat, have a love story, have a dance off, have a murder, have a
right.
Rajasthani palace. Like you got a bunch of flavors going on here, and it's very enjoyable. And Pitu, are you a person who enjoys the movie Face Off?
No.
Oh, so there's a scene in this where Bobby Deol does the John Travolta like face hand down the face thing.
Right.
Why? So that was fun. I hadn't remembered that, but it held up
Nice.
well, and I'm always glad to see Twisty Turny not this movie is violent. I don't want to say it's not, but it's not the most violent, so I
Mm.
could handle the thriller part. And I should put the warning on this. If you are sensitive to violence against women, this is not the film for you, so don't watch it. Um, I will say everything works out okay in the end, basically, with the caveat that all of these people are awful. None of them deserve happy endings. And when, okay, so really cover your ears if you don't want to be spoiled on this movie. Amisha switches allegiance, and is like, oh, actually, Bobby is my true love, and Akshay is crazy pants. Um, and she goes through a lot of suffering due to that. And the film, I don't know, they really physically knock her around quite a lot, and it's pretty hard to watch. And I thought she did a good job handling that. I felt like I actually hadn't seen anything that brutal in a while, and it actually reminded me of Indopati when
Mm.
poor Kriti Sanon, is so abused. So there is a really harsh sequence in this, um, but I still enjoyed it, if I
Okay.
can say that. But yeah, I can't tell you that anyone needs to see this film, although Melanie might tell you that you do. So I would be interested to hear. If I get good commentary from her, I'll pop it into the YouTube comments or maybe I can get her to comment directly. But um, I don't know. I like Abbas-Mastan in general. I haven't seen all of their films, but it's a solid
Yeah.
entry. Yeah,
Do we know why Abbas-Mastan only wear white?
I do not.
It's such a, I mean, they are known for that, but also like there's this whole slew of celebrities who only wear white. Like it is the only color that there are people that have made it their whole personality. Like Abbas Mastan only wear white. Nargis only wore white. Like in her personal life, she only wore white. I think Indira Gandhi, the politician, primarily wore white. Lata Mangeshkar only wore white. There are so many people like that. And then Raj Kapoor always put his heroines in white.
Right.
Like he always did. And then Yash Chopra put so many of his heroines in white. Like there's a whole movie, Chandani,
Yeah.
named for, you know,
Yeah.
and what is this obsession with white that people have even in their like real life?
So what does it say about me that we have all those sort of like classical or golden age references, or even Yash Chopra in an era that I'm not really fond of for him, but still, and I'm like, you know what I'm gonna watch? A mid-tier Abbas Mustan film from 23 years ago.
No, but I was wondering, I was like, why is white such a thing? I don't know anyone in Bollywood who's like, I only wear red or whatever.
Well,
It's these people who have made white their whole wardrobe.
I mean, when we did black, we did talk a little bit about
Oh
people
yeah,
who only
black
ever wear
is
black. And of course, there's Rika who only wears gold, at
yeah.
least when she's being photographed. Um, I think the thing about white is it shows dirt instantly, obviously. So if you are walking
Mm,
around in white, it's a way to show that you have people, you don't need to concern yourself about being dirty, either because you don't do anything that gets dirty, or you have people who take care of that for
mm.
you, which I think
We're
is
sort of breathing that rarefied air.
Mhm,
There's even
mhm.
that I think it's also like, so yeah, I get your point about like signaling status, but there's
Yeah.
also this whole like virtue signaling thing too. Like, have you seen Gangu by Kathiawadi?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like Gangu until she becomes the madam. Until then, she's worn like all sorts of colors, and then you only see her in shades of white. It's like different shades and different fabrics and stuff, but she's only wearing white. And I that is also very much a way of her signaling that I'm above it
Yeah.
all. I may be a madam and I might be living in Kamtipura and stuff like that, but I am not one of them. So that is
Right.
also a kind of like I see your point about like maybe raising yourself about others. I am not a pleb.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But then what do you think was going on in the directors' minds? Like Raj Kapoor and Yash Chopra both have this obsession with women in white. What's that about?
I expected something gross about purity.
With Raj Kapoor, sure, but with Yash Chopra as well, you think? Or is with I mean, I tend to give Yash Chopra more credit than Raj Kapoor because I don't think he's quite as creepy. But I wonder if it's also like associated with more romantic things,
I mean,
like
he's clear. I mean, if you're gonna name people Chunni, then
yeah.
so yeah, Moonlight is a nicer
Mm.
version of some of this, but Moonlight is um what
Reflective and soft.
soft, exactly. It's not harsh. Like sunlight is the harsh one.
Mm-hmm.
Moonlight is very rarely depicted as being harsh. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
it might throw enough light to draw some shadows that are, dangerous or revealing or obscuring or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But basically, it's the silvery, softer,
Mm-hmm.
maybe more poetic one. It's
Yeah.
the more romantic one, generally
Mm-hmm.
speaking.
It
Um,
also reminds one of like lovers' trysts and stuff
exactly.
like that. I mean, so much of like Indian mythology or old stories or love stories or songs, they're all about like people sneaking out of, their homes in the middle of the night to meet someone in the middle of the forest and letting the moonlight kind of light their way,
And like
sort of.
apsaras wear white, fairies
Yes.
wear white,
Nymphs. Yeah.
clouds, muses,
Mm.
that kind of thing. And because white is a color of or off-white anyway, which is your screen is not lying to you. I am wearing off-white and Pitu is wearing
Yeah.
white today because I didn't have anything white that was warm enough to wear in the cold weather we were having. Um, that is a thing that we see statues in. So I think it
Yeah.
can lend
Marble.
itself to the sort of rarefied art and things like that, and things that are expensive and pearls,
Hmm.
diamonds, and platinum and
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So definitely like ideas of like social currency,
yeah.
also real currency. Silver is white too. I mean, it's metallic, but it's also kind of a white.
Do you
And
think there's
also like,
also something about like the blankness, the clean page, the blank slate of white that sometimes,
mhm,
kind of maybe subconsciously enables a viewer to depict project
project
themselves
onto
in
it.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
like we need a white screen for film to work at all, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Also, like, it's also sensuous. I mean, red is very bold and in your face, and so is like bright orange, but white somehow I think it stands out. I mean, if you look at it visually, for example, in Yash Chopra's films, it doesn't matter what background he has. He could be shooting in Switzerland and it could be like green and beautiful, or he could be shooting on the streets of Delhi. But if his heroine is wearing white, whether it's Rekha or Sridevi or whoever, if they're wearing white, they stand out. You
Yeah.
notice them immediately, and in like a sea of neutral tones or even like jewel tones, that white is like
Yeah.
significantly bright.
Hmm.
So maybe also again a way of like being interesting, being different. Sorry, my dog is trying to eat my speaker. Can you
And
not?
everybody, Pidgey's dog is the cutest, a cute little doggy. So if she makes an appearance, you will be very lucky indeed.
She has made it up and down the
Oh, that's
stairs.
true.
I
That's true.
Yeah, and then I had to switch my video off because I saw her like chewing on a house plant. This is what happens when you get a very young dog. But Okay, so the movie I picked was Kati Patang. I think you've seen it, but a long time ago.
Exactly. I remember nothing.
So I initially avoided Kati Patang, even though I've heard good things about it, and I do like Shakti Samanta as a director. I avoided it because for some reason I thought it was going to be hella weepy because the title song itself is so weepy, and Kati Patang literally means a kite that's been taken down. Not even like a kite that fell to the ground, but like during like Basant Panchami and stuff like that, when you're flying kites, the way you defeat your opponent is to cut their kite, right? So it's almost like an aggressive, like being cut down in the prime of life kind of a vibe. And so I was like, do I want to watch this weepy movie? No. And so I avoided it for many years. And then I was like, this is a perfect opportunity to force myself to see it. And I'm actually so glad I saw it. It's not weepy. I've seen far weepier stuff. It's actually very interesting. And because this is also an extremely old movie, I'm going to give spoilers. If people don't want to, then this is their opportunity to tune out. So, um, Asha Parekh at the beginning of this movie has had a no good, very bad, very horrible, terrible night. All sorts of terrible things have happened to this woman. We discover it is her wedding day. She's going to get married. She clearly is not very thrilled about it. We don't know who the groom is. And she is wanting to run away. And she escapes and runs away to her lover's home, who we discover is Prem Chopra, who does not seem to understand how to button a shirt, Beth. Because throughout this movie, he has shown at least 7 inches of chest hair. And I don't know why. I saw that there were buttons on his shirt, but he just simply refuses to button his shirts up.
Just Prem Chopra.
Perhaps they just Prem Chopra things. Maybe it was just very hot. I don't know. But he
Always.
wears this, he wears this like big gold locket, and his chest hair. He's like such a bear, and I'm like, can we button up, sir? Can we maybe attempt to? And he's like, no, I will not. And his mall is Bindu, and she is just awesome. Every time I see Bindu on screen, her name in this movie is Shabnam, and I'm like, yay, Shabnam! She's so wicked, but I love her so much. Also, what does it say about me that I love the wicked one rather than the poor heroine who has bad things happening?
Well,
Anyway,
even it's Bindu.
it's Bindu.
It
How
takes a
am I
whole
to
lot.
resist her? I
Yeah.
can't resist. How am I supposed to resist Helen or Aruna Irani or Bindu? I'm a weak mortal. Okay.
Mhm.
I cannot. So,
Same.
anyway, so every time Bindu comes, I'm like, Bindu. Anyway, so Prem Chopra is Asha Parekh's lover, and he's a horrible, no good person. And he was only romantically involved with her. His actual lover is Bindu, but he was stringing Asha Parekh along because she is the heir to her uncle's fortune. But now, because she has run away, she has basically abandoned her uncle's fortune. And so when he discovers that she ran away to be with him, but she has no longer any money, no more mula, he decides it's not worth it. And she discovers that he's with Bindu. And so she decides that she can't, like this is pointless. So she goes back to her uncle's house where earlier she had the marriage, that was the wedding that was going to happen, and she discovers her uncle in an armchair, and she has this like thing where she begs him for his forgiveness, and he is actually dead of a heart attack. So in one night she has run away from her wedding altar, she has been ditched by her lover, and her uncle, who was her sole relative, is now dead.
That really is a
So
no good, very bad day.
it is a very, very unfortunate day for Asha Parekh, poor Asha Parekh. And then she's very sad and she's very heartbroken, and she decides she's going to catch a train to nowhere. And so she's at the train station, and she bumps into an old college friend of hers, or a school friend of hers, who is now a widow, and she has a baby. Said baby is credited in the credits as Mapit Puran. I squealed out loud when I saw and Mopet Puran. And I was like, who is Mopet Puran? Well, Mopet Puran is very much a Mopet. They have the biggest golden zulfe and the biggest eyes. And Mopet Puran always looks grumpy. Always. That child does not smile.
So is your adorable dog, whom we've just mentioned, Moppet,
Also a Mopet. Yes. I am my own
Muppet,
Mopet.
and a Moppet?
Yes. But I'm not Asha Parekh. So yes, and then the friend tells her something very interesting. The friend had eloped from home and to get married to her lover, and who is now her husband and the father of Mapit Puran. And this person has passed away. So she is going to her in-laws' house in Nainital because she has no one in this world. And so she's going to her in-laws. That way they will at least have the daughter-in-law and their grandchild. And she's very happy about it. And she says to Asha Parekh, well, you have no one. Why don't you come with me? We're like friends. We're like sisters. We'll live together. We'll tell them you're my sister and we will raise this child together and you'll have a home and I'll have company. I don't know these people. And Asha Parekh is like, that sounds like a good idea. And I was like, yes, that sounds like a great idea. Sisterhood. Yeah. Unfortunately, the train derails. At this point, I am feeling very bad for Asha Parekh. This is the no good, never ending night of misfortune that just doesn't stop. So the train derails. The friend dies. So now it has been 48 hours. Two people are dead. Her uncle is dead. Her friend is dead.
And now she has a kid, basically,
Yes.
right?
And the friend basically says to her, you have to take my place. You have to be my doppelganger. You have to pretend to be me and go to Nainital because you have no one and they will accept you as the daughter-in-law. They haven't seen me ever or seen my photo even. My child needs a mom. You need a home. Everyone will be happy. Do it for me. And Asha Parekh is like, fine. And I was like, actually, that's a good idea. I mean, yes, there's a lot of lying. Fine.
One wishes they had a slightly longer time frame in which to talk it out, get some more deets, like so she could learn more about how to fit in and whatever, but we're not going to worry about that.
Well, there was like a letter shown and a wedding photo shown and stuff. So
That's plenty.
it's like 5 minutes. Okay. Like she had enough to like brush up on. Okay. She knows her name. She knows the husband's name. She knows the child's name. She has enough. It's
She
fine.
knows Moppet, so it's fine.
Moppet is there. So like Moppet will just smooth things over with his grumpy face and his double
Oh,
chin.
right. So Moppet has to then act like this is his mom.
Moppet seems generally grumpy with everyone. So that should be fine.
But Moppet won't spill the beans?
Moppet cannot speak. Moppet is a baby.
Okay, but Moppet's not gonna like, you
Moppet is
have
not verbal.
parents. We don't know, so we won't worry.
No, Moppet is not verbal. Moppet cries, but he's not verbal. So it's fine.
But Moppet doesn't cry extra when she picks Moppet up,
No,
for example.
no,
It's not like that child looks very unhappy with their mother.
no. Moppet is just generally unhappy. And it's not any less unhappy with Asha Parekh to answer your question.
I will stop worrying about reality now.
Yeah. So then Asha Parekh and Moppet, Asha Parekh, of course, changes into a beautiful white satin sari. I have to say, Asha Parekh's wardrobe in this movie is 99% white saris, and every white sari is different. She's worn an ivory sari with white stars on it. She's worn a white chiffon sari. She's worn a white georgette sari. She's worn a white silk sari. She has a white sari for every occasion. It's actually kind of awesome. Like she goes to a birthday party and a picnic, and she's wearing like really nice, like kind of like fancy white saris. So anyway, and then Moppet and Asha Parekh go to Nainital. Of course, they bump into Rajesh Khanna, who is a forestry officer, except we never actually see him work. So that's interesting. We do see him drink a lot, and he sings a lot of sad songs because he was ditched at the altar. Are you starting to sense a theme here? Asha Parekh ditched someone at the altar. Rajesh Khanna was ditched at the altar. They don't know who the other person is, hence. Rab ne bana di jodi, okay? Or Moppet ne bana di jodi. And then she, ingratiates herself to the fake in-laws and everything. And then there is like a love story happening with Rajesh Khanna, who has sworn off women because he was ditched at the altar, but like he likes her as a friend. And then they start loving each other. And his sister's like, you want to marry a widow? And also she has a child. But then he's like, no, but like I love her. And also you had such regressive thoughts. And I was like, yeah, that's right. And then, I liked his sister until she said that. And I was like, you suck. But it's such an interesting movie because I actually low-key feel so bad for Asha Parekh, even though all she does this entire movie is lie to people. All she does is lie. Every word out of this woman's mouth is a lie. Like she could tell me, yeah, she could tell me it was a Wednesday and I'd be like, you're lying. She could be like, it's 4:30 p.m. I'm like, that's a lie. I don't believe you. But ultimately, all ends well. It's a love story. It's interesting. I find it interesting that she is in the garb of a widow. And so, widows are supposed to wear white for the same reason that brides wear white in the West, which is to say they're pure as the driven snow, and they're very chaste and truthful and all of these virtuous things. And she's actually one of the least virtuous people in this movie. Like, she's not like effectively bad, but she's essentially just like tricking people at every step. And like I said, I don't believe a word that comes out of this woman's mouth. Having said that, I do feel some level of sympathy for her. Mostly, I suspect, because Asha Parekh's acting is so good. She has aced this role. She's actually really amazing in this role, and I think she plays it in a very nuanced way, where she knows she's lying and she feels bad that she's lying and she has guilt about it. But I think she has so much trauma and so much anxiety, and she feels so terrible about all the things that have happened as a result for her. Like, she's carrying a lot of guilt about her uncle passing away due to the heart attack, because that was a result of her eloping. She has a lot of anger and resentment towards Prem Chopra because he ditched her and tricked her. She is falling in love with Rajesh Khanna, but at the same time she's not sure if he will accept her when she tells him that she is a liar and all of this is a lie. So I feel for the girl. I think she has created, it's that Shakespeare line, oh, what a tangled web we weave when we set out to deceive. That's basically what this movie is. It's this web of deceit that has been created not due to any true malice, but kind of due to like self-preservation and also some good intentions. Like, she's a really nice daughter-in-law to her parents-in-law, and she's actually really nice to Moppet, and Moppet is as nice to her as he can be. And she's like a really nice friend and all the things, and she also is very photogenic when she's crying, so I props for that. I am an ugly crier, so I appreciate people who cry beautifully. And she lip syncs really well, and her romantic songs with Rajesh Khanna are really good.
Did she get to dance? Because she's a great dancer.
She does not get to dance, which is very
Oh.
sad. But we get one of my most favorite cabaret numbers of all time, which is Mera Naam Shabnam. It's so good. And then her in the jumpsuit with the sequins, and she is so wicked. And when she goes, Ina, Yamina, Ina, Mina, Anju, Manju, yeah, Madhu. Oh my God. It was so awesome. Like, I had come home from work and I was tired and I was wearing my blankie and I was drinking tea. And that cabaret number like just woke me up at like 10:30 p.m. It is epic. It is awesome.
It is.
And I like Bindu in just like 5 minutes, just like kills it. She is so fat. Also, Prem Chopra is very mean to Bindu. And like, I hate him for that. Like, you can be mean to Asha Parekh and I will like dislike you, but you're mean to Bindu, and it's like shots fired. I mean, she's a wicked
on that shit list then, because
yes, I know. No, Bindu's a terrible person also, like from start to finish. Like your movie, there's not a lot of good people in this movie. Moppet is fine because Moppet is too young to create any havoc. Rajesh Khanna is a nice person in this movie. I don't know what he does except for sing songs and look handsome and drink a lot, but I mean, that's okay. This soundtrack is amazing. I mean, it's just the most brilliant soundtrack. It's Adi Burman, it has Kishorda, it has Asha, it has Lata. It's just brilliant. It has good romantic numbers. It has Ye Sham Mastani. It has so many good songs. It has Ye Jo Mohabbat Hai, Ye Unka Hai Naam, which is a great party song. And of course, the cabaret number is the best, though. So I recommend this film if you want to talk about subterfuge, the road to hell being paved with good intentions. That's what this movie is. It's about how you can create a lot of havoc in your life and other people's life just by not communicating and not being straight up. So yeah, but it's a good time. It's a good movie. Even though it's from the 70s, it doesn't feel super dated to me. The lack of a dance number from Asha is definitely a missed opportunity, but I'm not sure how they could have squeezed that in unless it was in some sort of like dream sequence, because she is meant to be like just this very guilt-ridden angsty person throughout the film. You never see her really like laugh wholeheartedly. She just has these like little smiles on her face at most. But she's done a brilliant job, and I'm very much looking forward to doing like an Asha Parekh episode at some point when we do sort of like a retro Queens episode. But yeah, I would recommend Kati Patang. Yeah.
I almost want to watch it again just to A, refresh myself with all these amazing things that you've been talking about. But B, yes, I can pull up Marinam, Hey Shabnam anytime I want, but seeing it in
Yes.
context is better because if I recall correctly, Asha does a lot of like, I'm very horrified by Bindu faces.
Yeah, she does. Because Bindu is basically like she is blackmailing her in that
Yeah.
song. She is intentionally trying to scare her and terrify her while Rajesh Khanna is sitting next to her because they're kind of like extorting her.
Yeah.
So it's a very real fear that they're basically going to like Bindu has Asha Parekh has a lot of secrets in this movie, man.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and what is funny is your movie Humraaz, it literally means your like joint secret keeper.
Mhm.
And she in this movie, she has no joint secret keeper unless one counts Moppet, which one can't because he's a baby. So it's like secret keeper and joint secret keepers.
Nice.
Maybe that's what white is about, just like lying when people think you're being truthful.
Yeah, I mean, is white the color equivalent of nothing to see here?
Yeah, maybe subterfuge.
Yeah.
So have you read about or heard about the latest Pantone controversy?
Well, it was brought to my attention, and as someone who has a Pantone color deck in their office, I actually should pay more attention to this than I do, and I have that because I oversee graphic design for a museum and occasionally dabble myself. And it does not seem like an interesting choice this year.
So, for those who don't know, Pantone's color of the year is Cloud Dancer, which is just a fancy way of saying white. And it has definitely sparked a lot of controversy. People are hella bored with it. And people are like, really? You can choose anything else except white? Like Benjamin Mork's color of the year, I think, is like teal or something. Someone else has picked like umber. And I know the fashion people are saying that burgundy is going to be a really, or plum is going to be a really big color on the catwalks, but it's like they literally chose Cloud Dancer. And I think some of the logic behind it was that it represents like, you know, peace and serenity and things like that, which I think we can all agree that, you know, we need some of that in our lives.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Cloud Dancer is the Pantone color. And a lot of people were saying that it's just very boring and dull and uninspired. And so I was curious about your thoughts about that. Like, why is white considered so basic by so many people?
Um, I think it is going to be that blankness, right? That we associate it, we can associate it with a if you don't choose anything, that's what you have kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, it's like how we use vanilla as a pejorative
Yeah.
sometimes, even though, as we've discussed multiple times, like vanilla is key to so much sweet baking and so many
Mm-hmm.
flavors and is actually incredibly important and can be incredibly complex and sophisticated on its own. So it's not fair, but that's a, that's a kind of a way that we use that word. So I think white is like it's kind of the default option, just like I was saying about blue, at least in American culture, I feel like, right, if you can't figure out someone's favorite color, it's probably blue.
Blue. Yeah.
And white is like, well, the apartment that you move into and you can't paint, it's probably
Mm.
white or off-white. It's,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Um,
Well,
it's
there was also, remember millennial beige?
right.
Like it was like millennial beige, millennial gray. Like they were basically saying like millennials only like these like very like dull colors. I mean, you associate white with like IKEA.
Yeah.
You don't associate it with like expensive furniture, like the kind that's like mahogany or walnut or something rich. Although, you know, some of the most expensive furniture is like the marble stuff, and
Yeah.
that's white.
Yeah.
Um, I think there's definitely culturally, I think in
I'm
the
sure.
West,
Yeah.
there's more, I think, disdain of white in the West because it's seen as so like basic because it's so common. I think in India we tend to like white more than that because there's so much color in India anyway, that I think white stands out, especially like the really bright white. Like
Right.
just look at your background, like that is the color of a lot of ancient buildings in India.
Yeah.
We don't have like white buildings unless you're talking about like the Taj Mahal or something. So I think in India we have a much more positive opinion of white. Also, most homes in India are not white because in a hot, humid, dusty country like India, it would be impossible to keep your white walls like pristine. Also, like considering the amount of like pollution and stuff like that, and like the monsoons and stuff, like if you wore like crisp white every day and you're commuting by like public transport or something, it's going to get dirty so fast. So it's like I don't think in India we have the same feelings about white, of considering it basic,
Yeah.
as it is seen in the West, I think. um
And I do feel like in the West, it is also a luxury color
mm,
because of that whole like how do you keep it clean and away from all the things that you're talking about.
yeah. Okay. Were there any iconic white movies you were thinking of?
I mean, as you were talking in the beginning, there any widowed ma will do. So why did I not pick something with Nirupa Roy in it? We've done a couple of those already, so I didn't want to repeat. But there, yeah, I think that I could find iconic white in obviously, if it's actually iconic, I don't have to go looking for it. But I could find something significant that is white in many, 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 many films. But
Mm-hmm.
somehow this idea of the Abbas-Mastan pair just tickled my fancy, so I just went for it. Um, but yeah, if you are new to our podcast and have not gone through the back archives, we do have an episode from about a year ago about snow, and
Mm,
we talk a lot about what snow represents, and obviously, white is a big part of why snow is so it kind of it extra emphasizes some of the things that snow is about, the fact that it's white. So like the hush, it's white. The
mm-hmm.
the peril, the fact that something in such a stark color is so dangerous.
Pristine.
Yeah, the pristine,
Yeah.
yet it can hide things. All that stuff is magnified by the amplified. That was the word I was looking for by the fact that it's white. So we've talked about this before, but I think I would have gone for a snowy film had I not picked Abbas-Mastan because they're relatively, there are a lot of snow song teleport numbers, but fewer films actually set among the snow. And we have talked about a few big ones being Jungly, um, and Gaddar. And then of course we've talked a little bit about some of the Yash Chopra-y white
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
snowy things
You
too.
know, another genre that has like the woman in white is horror.
Right.
Um, because there's always like, movies like Mera Saya or stuff like that, or the Ramsey brothers. It's almost like such a joke, right? Like if
Yeah.
you're watching a Ramsey brothers movie, there's always gonna be some actress and she's always for some reason in a white lingerie. And she's always like in the middle of the night going for a walk. And I'm like, girl, like I used to watch those movies when I was really little, and our cable wala would show. He would only show like R-rated movies, like adult movies, which almost all horror used to be rated that. After like about I think 10:30 p.m. was the cutoff, and I love horror, so I would watch all of those. And every single movie would have this like stupid woman who would be in white lingerie, and she would just go for a walk in the middle of the night, like conveniently next to the cemetery, like do 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 do. And I'm like, you stupid, like I'm 12 years old, I'm 13 years old, and I can tell you, you stupid. um but always the women in the white, in the
Yeah.
horror movies, ghosties are associated with white and ghouls are associated with white. um just an interesting color.
Yeah.
It's such an extreme color, like you
It
associate
is.
it with,
Yeah.
right? Like you associate it with like new beginnings, and also endings you associated with like serenity and peace, but you also associated with like the blood curdling screams and
Yeah.
like horror films, because red, like the blood, when someone's like gashing at someone, and the blood is just gushing out of them, it looks so like when those stupid women in the white negligee get
Mhm.
stabbed,
Mhm.
it's all that red blood on their white lingerie,
Stands
you
out.
know yeah, interesting.
Yeah, really, it's a very useful color, and I loved what you said about it being a break from in an environment where there are a lot of saturated, many, many colors that are very, very saturated.
Hmm.
White does offer a bit of relief, and it's like you need a margin around the words and things
Hmm.
like that. So it
Yeah,
allows a bit of breathing space or a chance to rest and then take in a new thing and all that.
yeah.
It is artistically, it's very important color.
Yeah. Like my house is primarily hot pink, literally, like if you look at my wall behind me. So I actually have a lot of white. And my favorite color of white is actually Benjamin Moore Atrium White, which is the white I use because I like that it has like a cool tone to it and it has like a little
Oh.
bit of pink in it. But I just have so much hot pink everywhere that I have to have like bright white. Otherwise, it's just too much. So interesting. Who is there a celebrity that you associate with the color white apart from Abbas-Mastan?
There must be, and I'm not thinking of it. And I did try to think of this in advance, and I'm sure someone will be like screaming at it, like it's so and so. I'm like, oh yeah, of course it is so and
It's
so.
Jitendra.
It's Jitendra. I did think about doing it. Your doggy is like, Jitendra. I did think about doing a tippy toe prancing Jitendra film. I decided I would rather watch early 2000s. I don't know what's wrong with me there. But yeah, that's obviously a great one. Rishi wears white a fair amount, especially his trousers, if I recall, and sometimes white shoes like his pal Jitendra. But yeah, Jitendra would have been a fun choice as well.
I think perhaps you didn't want to talk about Jitendra because we did Parinita, Jitendra in tight white polyester pants where he has no circulation,
Right.
Parinita.
One Jitendra film per like 6 month period. So we're not past our, we need a little bit more pot. Again, you need a margin to rest and before you.
Exactly. The idea of thinking of Jitendra as like a margin though and a break is astounding to me.
I
Okay.
do feel
I
like many of the 70s heroes wear white suits.
Yes.
I've seen Shashi in a white suit, for example. Amitabh
Kulbhushan
Bachchan,
Karbanda.
Kulbhushan,
But
yeah,
Kulbhushan Karbanda didn't wear the white suits that Shashi wore. He wore what is known as the safari suit
safari suit,
with
yeah,
the briefcase and
yeah,
the chashma. Yeah.
yeah. He means business,
And then white is, of course, always the color of the dhoti. So
right?
anytime you have the elder statesmen, people they're wearing white. My
Yeah,
beloved Prithviraj Kapoor, Jupiter Ki Shubkamnaएं, wears a white dhoti in Kalaj Aur Kal, where he's like the grumpy
yeah.
grandfather. Yeah, lots of
I
white in
did.
that.
I did briefly think about doing a classic Bengali film of so
Mhm.
or one or the other because Uttam Kumar is always dresses
Oh,
like that a lot, and so does Sumitra Chatterjee, of course. And I thought about it, but then I was like, no, I want to do trash masala horror film or thriller. I shouldn't say trash. I should say thriller.
you were like bobblehead Bobby, Samitra Chatterjee. However, will I choose?
Am I that I went for Bobblehead Bobby? But it was fun to see Bobblehead Bobby.
Nice. Okay. I think that concludes our episode for today. Let us know what your favorite white movies are. Let us know what your favorite white celebrities are. If it is Jitendra, I will high five you from my side of the computer. Also, let us know what you think about the color white and what you think about Maz. Do you think that Nirupal Roy is the symbol of white in Hindi cinema? And we will see you next week on Filmy Ladies. Thank you for watching. Bye.